I've sewn this dress. Wait, this is the back. This is the front, and it has straps so you can tie it in the back. And the plan is to embroider a dragon on the back right here. First I'm going to make a drawing of the dragon, and then I'm going to somehow trace it on here. Usually I do that with pencil, but since this is quite a dark fabric, I think I might have to use chalk. Like, that's what I've got in white, which might work. That's the plan. So here is the sketch I made of the Chinese dragon, and it's not a very pretty or detailed sketch, as in this case I'm definitely not able to transfer any sketch onto this fabric because it's just way too dark. It won't be any see-through possibilities. So I just made this, and I'm gonna draw it again on the fabric itself with a little tailor's chalk. Now that the design is traced, for now, as I'll probably have to go over it a couple of times as the line might fade, it's time to start embroidering, and these are all my tools or just decorations and stuff. So a bunch of threads in pink and purple, more threads in pink and purple, but these are sewing threads, so they're a bit thinner. A golden thread, I have no idea what this is or how to use it, but they're cool and we'll see, maybe I'll incorporate them. A bunch of sequins. I also have these white pearly beads, more sequins, and this old bracelet which has some light pink see-through beads on them, which I might incorporate as well. Okay, so this is where we are now with the dragon. Unfortunately, I do not have a tripod or anything that I can position my phone on currently to film whilst I'm embroidering. So I will have to talk you through what I've been doing. I've used an embroidery hoop. This one I believe is 15 centimeters in width, and yeah, so, but I've not been pulling it very taut because the fabric is very stretchy, and I fear that if I pull it very taut it will be very wrinkly and not look good when I remove the hoop. You can already see it's a little bit tight around the head, and I think it will get a little bit better after ironing, but I suppose it will always be a little bit wrinkly, but that's okay as long as it won't look too weird. And as for how I've gone about this, so I've traced the outline of the dragon on here with white chalk, and then afterwards I figured I would just go over it with fine liner. So I did. These are the little black stripes that you see. I did with fine liner because it stays. The chalk faded really quickly, and you can barely see the fine liner, so even if it doesn't wash out, it really shouldn't matter so much, and the idea is that I embroider over the outline anyway. Yeah, so firstly I started here at the tip of the nose, and I used one strand for a little bit of really light pink that almost looks white on this really dark fabric. But then I realized it was just too small, so I started to use 2 threads afterwards. So then I did a slightly darker pink, and then a slightly darker pink, and slightly darker and darker, and then I used the purple, and I just did it that way. And I think about when I was here with embroidering, I started to do a little bit of a golden outline around like in the mouth, and then around the head and around the eye, to define it a bit more for myself, that's where the end would be. Yeah, for the horn that it has here, the little purple horn, I just did a purple color, just basically the same way as I did all of the rest, but then I went over it with a lighter purple, and I in horizontal. I mean, this is like the vertical line, and then I went over it this way, perpendicular to it. And yeah, I did this basically all in a satin stitch, and I used sort of a back stitch for the golden outline. I did some little teeth in the mouth just with one strand, and I don't know what this is called. I did with actually I don't know what the stitch is called in English. Actually, I also don't know what it's called in Dutch. And then for the belly, I just made straight stitches in a line, satin stitch, sort of blocks or squares, rectangle bits. So I'm gonna finish what I'm doing here, and then possibly use a bit of a darker shade to accentuate the different parts of the belly a bit better. And yeah, that's where we're at now.